Well. Against all the odds, in spite of all the life-changing events that are happening to me lately, mostly her, there is an update. And that's thanks to one, the grandparents with their babysitting, and two, it's thanks to you guys and all the nice reviews and brilliant ideas that you keep sending me. Still, the time ahead was very limited. The sleep was ridiculously scarce, little. I don't know, I'm tired, but here it is. Now, if you're a new user, I recommend you to watch this video where I explain the core mechanics of Poseit. At the beginning of that video, I do a flash recap and I explain the one or two main concepts that you need to understand to have a smooth and fast posing process. So let's start directly by making a pose, and I will show you all the little new features that I squeezed in this new update. Let's start by rising Adam up, and this is one question that pops up a lot. How do I move the whole character? You do that by editing the hips, which are the root of the whole body hierarchy. The first change I want to point at is that now locked body parts can be still moved when they are still locked. So you don't need to unlock them, tweak them, relock them. If you select them, you can move them. Of course, if they are not selected, they still are affected by their blocking feature. So as usual, all the tweaks happen in screen space, as you can see, which means the translation and the rotation are relative to my point of view, and so far and so forth. Also remember, guys, when I select the body part, I can use the whole screen to perform my gestures. I don't need to carefully touch one of the axes, anything like that. The whole screen is your input area. So again, with one finger drag or two fingers twist, you can rotate the body part. And if the gizmo shows these 4 arrows around, it means that you can also drag the body part that you have selected. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, okay, what the heck is this guy doing in this pose? Well, he's about to feature a new flex prop. This was inspired by a very creative user, Hi Maniped. He was using a sword as a guitar. Dude, check this. Ta-da! Brand new guitar. But maybe you wonder, how is this flexible? That's how. You now have 3-in-1. You can go from acoustic to electric, the V-shaped one, or to a bass guitar if you fancy bass guitars. Now, all the props have a new behavior, which is this magnetic function. What does it mean? You know that when you want to spawn a prop, you can either spawn it as a child of the word by tapping an empty space, or you can spawn it as child of a body part, which, by the way, is also a great way to having it appear close to that part. So as a child of a body part, prop will follow its parent, right? But say you want to move this guitar, and now probably you have to adjust the hand, which is the parent of this guitar in this case. But by doing so, you basically lose the position of the other hand, and that's where this new feature comes in handy. Now, if you enable this magnetic function, the prop gets automatically unparent, like under the hood. It's not a parent of the arm anymore, of the hand anymore, and it's the prop that constrains the IKs that he is in close proximity with. You can see if they are influenced by a prop or not, because their lock icon becomes a little magnet. So now you can change the position of the hands relative to the guitar, and the guitar will drive both of them. If the hands gets too far, they lose their magnetic relationship. I also want to say that this feature is still in an experimental state. That's why it's marked as yellow. So it might have some strange behavior, but if you don't use undo and redos, because that's where things start becoming a bit like sketchy, it behaves pretty reliably. Okay, so let's say you are 90% done with the pose, but you found a camera angle that is just right. You want to keep editing the pose, but you don't want to lose the view, like your perfect point of view. Fear no more. If you open the camera panel, you have not 1, not 2, but 3 bookmarks slots where you can save your favorite camera shots. You save by holding for 1 second, and you recall the view by just tapping it. This feature was inspired by Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Here it is. And these bookmarks also get stored in your save files. So don't worry, if you saved your scene, they will be loaded with it. Now let's say we want to make this guy land. All you need to do now with this new feature called Sticky Feet is just bring the feet or the foot at the ground level, and you will first trigger the automatic alignment for the tip of the foot, and then if you keep going, you will also automatically trigger this Sticky Feet feature where the foot will be automatically like pushed up until the ground level, and it will still be locked there until you release your touches. This was inspired by, sorry man, I'm gonna butcher your name, Obalolua Bamide Lucas, who wanted to have a way to be sure his model was grounded. You can disable this feature from the options, and as you can see, it's still in an experimental state. In this case, you can break it, like if you force the feet or the foot very fast deep into the ground, but it turns out to be a happy little accident rather than a bug, because allow us to still bend the feet when it is in contact with the ground. It even gives you this kind of visual feedback of when the foot is start to vibrating and it's in contact with the ground. Now, mannequins also have another material, for now only for mannequins, which is this clay material. And you can also, by the way, change the colors of your materials. And I don't know what you think, guys, but to me, this guy seems more like a meta hat, so let's make it so. Metal material. So if you have something shiny, some armor, you can try to get inspired by this kind of lighting. It still probably needs some environment to reflect, because that's what gives metal their particular look, but who knows, maybe in a future update we will also have environment maps, we will see. Moving on, there is a new kind of prop, MetaProps. They are props that have parts that can be articulated, a bit like mannequins but without inverse kinematics. So this is the first MetaProp and probably the most complex prop we have so far, and as you can see, you can move many parts of it, which would make the posing process a bit complicated if you want to rotate one of these with these parts. But if you feel brave, you can enable the magnetic function, so now turning the wheel or like the pedals will affect the limbs. And that's where the hip magnet comes in handy, because the hip also contains a magnet. You can attract the hip, and now you can move the whole mannequin with the bike. Just be careful, because the knees and the elbows will point in the previous direction, but it doesn't take too long to fix them. Also, there is a new way to unlock things rather than watching ads. As usual, every aspect of the app is accessible without paying. I didn't want to close anything behind a paywall. But while ads let you unlock the single item you're interested in, you can now unlock all the items at once, completing a survey. You don't unlock them permanently, that's done only with a donation you consider fair, but all at once with a single survey, which is more annoying than an ad, but that's why I unlock everything for you. The survey is provided by Polefish, and if you don't see this button, it means that Polefish didn't have any survey that would match with your profile. But if you complete it, all the objects will be unlocked at once. To be honest, sometimes the questions are a bit intrusive, but I like the fact that they leave you the option to not answer them. So that's the only reason why I decided to try, and also their tech team was very, very nice and helpful, helping me integrating their plugin in my app. So let me know what you think, guys. So these were the big updates, but there are also a number of small bug fixes, again suggested by you guys. First and foremost, actually it's not a small bug, I fixed a bug that was crashing the app after a fixed amount of seconds if like a certain combination of things were happening in the app. But so that should be fixed now. But also I tweaked like some other things that you reported, like the grid color, now it's darker, which should make it more visible on a big variety of screen. The auto rotate function now should work accordingly to your OS device setting. The save image with transparency option is now saved on your player preferences, so you don't have to check it every time you open the app. If you touch with more than 2 fingers, the view should not jump anymore. It will just stop taking inputs. And yes, I think that was it. I hope you like it. I still have a lot of things I would like to add, more body types, publishing on the iOS, maybe having a PC version, maybe on Steam. But these are way more demanding tasks that honestly, guys, I really don't have time to implement, but hopefully in the future, who knows? Baby steps, right? So stay safe, guys, and join the Poseit Together group on Facebook if you want to share some Poseit artworks and receive constructive feedbacks. That's it. Ciao, guys.